Yeah, you gotta take me.
Okay.
I
Do you have any
thought they were
weapons?
trying to kill me.
Sometimes the signs are subtle. A slammed door, a broken shelf, a text message that reads, "Things won't be good for me." But sometimes those signs are warnings, and if no one listens, they end in tragedy.
Your first name, please?
Carl,
Carl, tell me exactly what happened.
you need to come here.
Carl, tell me exactly what happened.
No comment. Please come.
Okay, I can't come unless I know where I'm standing. I dispatch for
You
police,
have a
fire, and
serious
medical.
crime scene. I need you to come.
Okay, tell me what it is. What's going on?
Come. Right now.
Carl, what's your last name?
Grosjean.
Spell the last
Yeah,
name
come.
for me.
Grosschen.
Okay, sir, I need some more information, okay? Tell me
You gotta come
exactly
right
what
now.
happened.
You
It
gotta come
doesn't
right
work
now.
that way, sir. I need to know what's going on.
You need to come here. I'm gonna come out.
I need you to tell me why. What's going on?
I can't. You gotta come here.
Why not? You can
Come
answer
here, buddy.
questions.
Give me a high
It's
five.
fine.
Ma'am, I need you to come here.
I need you to tell me what happened.
Ma'am, bye.
Tell me exactly what happened.
At first glance, nothing about the house on Warm Springs Road would raise suspicion. It sits quietly in a Henderson suburb, a cul-de-sac like any other. Clean driveway, trimmed lawn, family car in the garage. Inside lived a blended family, a mother, her husband, their young son, and her 20-year-old son from a previous marriage, Evan Scoggins. Evan was studying film and working part-time at Taco Bell, but his real focus was escape, out of the house, out of Nevada, away from the life he felt stuck in. To classmates and co-workers, he was Evan, but to his father Andrew, who lived overseas, he was Sergey. Either way, he was trying to move forward, but life at home kept pulling him back. In private messages, he shared what he couldn't say out loud. His stepfather, Carl Grosjean, wasn't just difficult. He was volatile, controlling, prone to sudden rages. Evan called the home hell. He begged his father to co-sign a loan so he could leave. And with every message, one thing became more and more clear. He was scared.
My stepdad just had another episode, and when he was near me, he just randomly said Evan is wrong. I asked about what? He said everything.
In the months before the shooting, the tension inside the house had escalated. Carl's behavior reportedly turned volatile. He destroyed furniture.
My stepdad went completely nuts. He finally ended up destroying her office, throwing everything off the shelf. He found the laptop, then he smashed it for like over a minute.
Berated family members for things as small as tipping waiters.
So they were eating at Outback Steakhouse, and she saw that my stepdad put $0 on the tip section of the bill. My mother apologized to the waiter, got out some of her own cash, and my stepdad got mad at my mother for doing this and tried to stop her.
When Anastasia, Evan's mother, sought legal advice about a possible divorce, Carl allegedly spiraled further. Evan told his father that things were deteriorating quickly, that he was being denied food, that he wasn't allowed to pursue a scholarship out of state, that Carl was trying to isolate them. Then, one night in October, everything broke. What started as an argument in the garage turned into something else entirely. A neighbor overheard shouting, then a door slamming. She saw Carl pushing Evan toward the car, telling him to leave. Moments later, gunfire. When officers arrived, Carl was waiting outside with his 5-year-old son. He wasn't hiding. He didn't run. Instead, he calmly told them to arrest him. Then he told them where to find the bodies.
2 dead bodies, they got arrested.
There's 2 dead bodies?
Yeah.
Who are they?
My wife and my stepson.
Inside the garage, Anastasia slumped in the driver's seat. In the laundry room, Evan. Both had been shot multiple times at close range. There were no weapons near either of them. No signs they'd fought back. Only a trail of violence that had ended in silence. Carl told police it was self-defense.
Yeah, you gotta take me.
Okay. Do you have any
I thought they were
weapons?
trying to kill me.
But investigators never found evidence to support that claim. In the days that followed, Andrew pieced together what had happened from thousands of miles away. He had been working overseas when he learned his son was gone. But through the grief, he uncovered a truth he already suspected. Evan had tried to save his mother. He heard the shots, and rather than run, he turned back. According to a neighbor, Evan re-entered the house seconds after that first blast. It's believed he ran to his mother's side, and he was met with a second round of gunfire. The family's youngest child, just 5 years old, was inside the home during the shootings. Miraculously, he survived unharmed, but the trauma he witnessed will never be erased. The investigation quickly confirmed that Carl had fired at least 9 rounds. The positioning of the bodies, the angle of the wounds, and lack of defensive injuries pointed to a targeted attack. Despite the confession caught on police body cam, Carl pleaded not guilty. His defense team requested a psychological evaluation, delaying court proceedings, but a judge later ruled he was competent to stand trial. Prosecutors announced they would seek the death penalty. But one detail haunted Evan's father: the pill bottles Carl carried as he exited the home. He was calm, too calm, and in his hand, prescription medication. According to Evan's father, that should have triggered an immediate toxicology test. But because impairment isn't an element of the crime of murder, and because there was no probable cause to believe drugs had played a role, police didn't test him. Instead, the opportunity passed, and with it, a potential line of evidence. In the week following the murders, the house was burglarized twice. Thieves stole electronics, furniture, even Evan's car. As if what had happened wasn't devastating enough, the family's remaining belongings were stripped away. Meanwhile, Andrew Scoggins, Evan's father, pushed for change. He believes toxicology should be a standard part of violent crime investigations. That understanding a suspect's mental state isn't just helpful, it's essential. Because without that data, questions remain unanswered. Did Carl take medication that night? Was he impaired when he pulled the trigger? Was this planned? The law doesn't consider impairment unless it directly influences the crime, like with drunk driving. But Andrew argues that the law is outdated, and in this case, it may have erased a crucial piece of the truth. Carl is still awaiting trial. If convicted, he could face the first execution carried out in Nevada since 2006.
We got my girlfriend herself in here, and she's laying
What's
in my
the
driveway.
address?
17 Albane Circle.
17 Albane Circle.
Yes, ma'am.
How old's your girlfriend?
She's 38.
Did she do it on purpose?
I don't know. Me and her got into an argument, and she grabbed my keys and came out to my car. I thought she was getting her cell phone cord, and she grabbed my gun and shot herself.
Okay, where'd she shoot herself?
In her stomach.
Okay, let me get EMS on the phone. Don't hang up.
She's not breathing.
Let me get EMS on the phone. Don't hang up.
I can't do nothing with her.
EMS Fire, what is the address of your emergency?
17 Albane Circle.
17 Albane Circle. What's your nearest cross street?
White Horse Road is the closest to us.
Okay, and what's the telephone number you're calling from? Tell me exactly what happened.
My girlfriend came out to my car and got my gun. Me and her got into an argument, and she got my keys. I thought she was coming out to get some stuff out of my car, but she grabbed my gun and shot herself.
Okay. Are you with her now?
Yes, I am. She's
How old
not
is she?
speaking.
Okay, sir.
She's 38.
Listen to me. They're already on the way to you, okay? How old is she?
All right. She's 38.
Okay, she's 38.
Yeah, she's not breathing. She's starting to stop breathing. Her eyes she's real pale, and she stops breathing now.
Okay.
Can we please get somebody
Okay,
here?
listen to me. They're already on the way to you. Is she conscious?
No.
Okay, is she breathing?
She's like gasping for air.
Okay. All right. I'm getting help on the way to you already. I have a few questions that I need you to answer for me, okay? But they are already en route to you. Okay? And you said that she shot herself?
Yes.
All right. All right. Where is she now? Is there any serious bleeding?
Yes.
Okay. Where is she now?
She's laying here in our driveway.
Okay, you have her out of the car?
She wasn't in my car. She just grabbed my gun out of my car.
Oh, she just took it out of the car. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, sir. You said she's not breathing, and she's
like laying here gasping.
Oh, she is gasping? Okay, once again, I'm sending the paramedics now to help you now. Stay on the line, and I'll tell you exactly what to do next, okay?
All
Are you
right.
right by her now?
Yes,
Listen carefully. Lay her flat on her back on the ground and remove any pillows.
she is.
Okay. I'm going to tell you... listen carefully, and I'll tell you how to do chest compressions. When you place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the center of the chest, right between the nipples, put your other hand on top of that hand.
I can't do that. I'm afraid she herself right there.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Renee, she's wanting me to do the breast compressions. Can you do them? I'm afraid to do them.
Okay, tell me what's got you afraid. I'm right here with you, and I'll walk you through the steps.
Because this is my...
Listen to me, sir. Listen to me. If we're going to help your girlfriend, I need you to listen to me carefully.
Yes.
Okay? Is she on the ground?
Yes, she's laying on the
Have her
pavement.
flat on the ground. Okay.
Yes, she's laying flat on her back.
I need you to place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the center of the chest, right between the nipples. Put your other hand on top of that hand. Do you understand me so far?
Yes.
I want you to pump the chest hard and fast, at least twice per second and 2 inches deep. Let the chest come all the way up between pumps. We're going to do this 600 times or until help can take over.
The ambulance is here. They're here.
They're there?
Yes. Please, let them.
Okay, let me know when they're right there with her. Sir?
Baby.
Let me know when they're right there with her, okay?
Baby, can you hear me? We need an ambulance now. She's not breathing. She's not breathing. There's like a bunch of cops here.
Okay.
She's not
they with you
breathing.
now? Sir, are they with
She's
you
right
now?
here. Yes, there's a bunch of cops here. She's not breathing.
Sir, are they with her now?
Oh, I should have gone straight in the house and locked it up. Yeah. She's not breathing.
Sir, are they with? Are the police with you now?
I locked it up in the house. Yes.
Okay, you can talk to them now.
All right.
Okay.
It was just after midnight when first responders arrived at the house on Albane Circle. 38-year-old Rebecca Nicole Hanning was lying in the driveway, a single gunshot wound in her torso. She was still breathing, barely. Medics rushed her to the hospital, but she died within the hour. Inside the home, deputies separated the occupants and began piecing together what had happened. Rebecca's boyfriend, Rockford Lewis, stayed behind. He told deputies they'd had an argument, that she'd walked out to his car, that somehow, inexplicably, she'd ended up with a bullet in her chest. But almost immediately, something didn't sit right. There were gaps in Lewis's story. He claimed the shooting happened near his car, but Rebecca's body was found well away from it. He said she was breathing, yet he made no attempt to help her. Even after the 911 dispatcher walked him through CPR instructions, Lewis said he was too afraid to touch her. He told officers the gun had already been locked in a safe, but if that was true, how did it end up in Rebecca's hands? And why had deputies decided to escort multiple people from the house for questioning? A Freedom of Information Act request later revealed what investigators had learned early on. The couple had been arguing that night. Tensions were high. It wasn't the first time. Both Rebecca and Lewis lived at the house, and something had clearly escalated. At first, Lewis insisted the shooting was self-inflicted, that it had all happened so fast. But investigators weren't convinced. 3 days later, they arrested him. The charges: murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. He was booked into the Greenville County Detention Center and denied bail more than once. Public records showed no prior felonies, no previous convictions, but the nature of the charge was enough to keep him behind bars while the case wound its way through the court system. And then, for a while, everything went quiet. The headlines faded. The trial stalled. Years passed. But behind the scenes, something darker was brewing. In 2021, just days before Rockford Lewis was scheduled to be sentenced, his mother, Reva Sheely, was arrested too. She'd been caught on recorded jail calls threatening the life of the lead prosecutor. According to law enforcement, she told her son she wanted to shoot the attorney. She talked about tracking the prosecutor's family. The threats had gone on for more than a year. It was a plot twist that could have upended the trial completely. But on August 16, 2021, Rockford Lewis stood in court and entered a guilty plea. Not to murder, but to voluntary manslaughter. Prosecutors accepted the reduced charge. He admitted to killing Rebecca Nicole Hanning, though the full truth of what happened that night never came out. No one else in the home was charged. No eyewitness ever came forward. And the exact cause of the fight, the moment it turned fatal, was never made public. Lewis was sentenced to 13 years in prison. The weapons charge stuck, added onto the plea deal.
Thank you. Police emergency. What's your location?
Good morning, Brookfield.
Whereabouts in Brookfield, sir?
593 Brookfield Road, Brookfield.
And what's happening there?
I don't want to be alarmist. I tried the 131 number, but just went on forever.
Yep.
My wife isn't home. And I don't know where she is.
Okay. When did you last see her, sir?
Last night when we went to bed. When I went to bed, and I got up this morning and she wasn't there, and that's not unusual. She often goes for a walk in the morning.
Yep.
I've texted her and called her a number of times. I think she has her phone with her.
Yep.
And
what time does she normally get back when she goes for a walk?
This morning she was planning to. She has a seminar in the city, so she was planning to leave by around 7. And,
okay.
She's not back home yet.
Okay. All right. And what's your wife?
I'm now driving the streets. My father's come over and to look after my children.
Yep. Okay. So what's your name first of all?
I'm sorry. Gerard, Gerard. Baden Clay, Baden.
Yep.
-Clay.
And what's your wife's name?
Alison with 2 L's.
And same surname? Okay. And how old is Alison?
44.
Okay. So you didn't see her before she got up this morning. So
no.
Okay. All right. And what's her mobile number? Okay. All right. And how tall is your wife?
5'6", something like that, I think.
Okay. And what colour hair has she got?
She just got it done last night. It's sort of a blondie, brownie, reddish sort of thing.
Yep. Okay. What I'll do, I'm going to put a broadcast on for the police to keep a lookout for your wife. Are you going to go back home? Because we'll get police to come and see you.
I need to go home.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Jared. I'll get police to come and see you, okay? What's the best contact number for you? Okay. Just give us a call back if she hasn't returned before police get there, okay? All right. Thanks, Jared. Bye-bye.
He sounded calm, polite, almost hesitant to involve the police. At first, there was no reason to doubt him. Gerard Baden Clay came across as a concerned husband trying to find his wife. He said she'd gone for a walk, as she often did. She hadn't come home, and now he was driving around looking for her. Police arrived at the Baden Clay home later that morning. Gerard met them at the door. There were no signs of forced entry, no blood, no damage. Inside, Gerard's father was caring for the couple's 3 young daughters. The devastated husband said he had been out looking for Allison, but had come back to meet with officers. They noticed scratches on his face and neck, thin, fresh, and red. When asked, he said he'd cut himself shaving. Outside, neighbors joined the effort. Emergency service volunteers combed nearby bushland. Community members walked the same trails Allison was thought to frequent. The case quickly attracted media attention. Allison's face appeared across national news. Blonde hair, warm smile, a mother of 3 who had simply vanished. Her parents, Jeff and Priscilla Dickey made a public appeal. They stood before cameras, pleading for help.
Please help us, because there are 3 beautiful little girls of Allison's wanting to see their mother.
Gerard thanked the public, too. He appeared composed as he stood outside his home, telling reporters that police were doing everything they could.
Tried to help the police as much as I can, and we all have, and everything we've got, so thank you. I'm trying to look after my children at the moment. They've got 3 young girls, and we really trust that the police are doing everything they can to find my wife, and we just hope that she'll come home soon.
At the time, detectives treated the disappearance as a missing persons case. Allison's husband wasn't a suspect. There was no physical evidence of a crime. That would change 10 days later. On April 30th, a canoeist spotted a body on the banks of Colo Creek, more than 9 miles from the Baden Clay home. The remains were badly decomposed, tangled in debris, partially hidden beneath the bridge. The next day, police confirmed it was Allison. Although a clear cause of death couldn't be determined, the coroner ruled her death suspicious. Investigators began treating it as a homicide. They returned to the Baden Clay house and took a closer look. Forensic teams found traces of Allison's blood in the rear of the family's SUV. Leaves and plant matter collected from her hair didn't match the creek, but they did match plants found in the family's yard, near the back patio. Phone records contradicted Gerard's account of his movements. Financial documents painted a different picture of his life. He was in serious debt, hundreds of thousands of dollars owed to family and friends. His real estate business was struggling, and then came the other truth. He wasn't just a husband and father. He was having an affair with a colleague named Tony McHugh. The affair had gone on for years. He'd promised to leave his wife. He'd told Tony they could be together.
I believed that I was in a loving, caring relationship that did have a future.
But behind closed doors, he was trying to hold both lives in place. A picture-perfect marriage in public, and a secret relationship in private. At least 2 other women later came forward, claiming Gerard had been romantically involved with them as well. In June, nearly 2 months after Allison's disappearance, police brought him in for questioning. He denied any involvement in her death. Gerard said he had no idea how she ended up in the creek. But the evidence was mounting, and later that day, he was arrested and charged with murder. The scratches on his face, first dismissed as shaving cuts, became a key part of the case. Forensic experts testified that they were consistent with fingernail injuries, not a razor. A fight, perhaps. A struggle. Prosecutors argued that Gerard killed Allison in a moment of panic or rage, driven by financial pressure, the fear of losing his business, and desperation to keep his affair hidden. Then, they said, he disposed of her body and spent the next morning staging concern. The case went to trial in June 2014. It was largely circumstantial. There were no witnesses, no murder weapon, and no definitive cause of death. But the jury heard testimony from over 40 witnesses, including Tony McHugh, Gerard's former mistress and one of the few people who saw his 2 lives collide. She testified that their affair had lasted more than 3 years. They had broken things off briefly, but by early 2012, they were back in contact. According to Tony, Gerard told her he was committed to leaving his wife, that he wanted a future with her, not Allison. He even gave her a date, July 1st, that he said was when he'd be free. But in the days before Allison disappeared, Tony noticed a change. Gerard told her to lay low. He asked her not to attend a work event. He started putting distance between them, just as the pressure from his home life and financial problems was closing in.
Did you think that you'd get married one day? He had told me that he would marry me one day. We met at a coffee shop. He sat opposite me, held my hand, came into that meeting without his wedding ring on. I need you to know that I love you and that I am going to be leaving my wife.
She also revealed that Gerard had confessed to at least 2 other affairs during their time together, one of them with a woman he met at a real estate conference. He had flown her in from another city for the weekend, even while still seeing Tony.
I was feeling that that's what people were inferring or making suggestions that, yes, that I'd had some involvement or that I knew more than I did. And the simple fact was no. This came as much of a surprise and a huge disbelief on my part that this was happening.
Tony's testimony gave the jury a look at the man Gerard didn't show the public: calculated, manipulative, and desperate to keep control of his carefully curated image. They saw the photos, they listened to the experts, they weighed the lies, the motive, the carefully rehearsed story. After 5 weeks, the jury returned a verdict: guilty of murder. But that wasn't the end. In 2015, his lawyers appealed the conviction. They didn't argue that he was innocent, only that there wasn't enough evidence to prove he meant to kill Allison. They claimed her death could have been accidental, the result of a sudden confrontation that turned physical. To the public's shock, the Court of Appeal agreed. They reduced the conviction from murder to manslaughter, ruling that the original jury hadn't been properly instructed to consider the possibility of an unintended death. The backlash was immediate. Within weeks, the state's top prosecutors took the case to Australia's High Court, the highest legal authority in the country. In August 2016, that court overturned the ruling. They pointed out that Gerard had testified under oath that he had absolutely nothing to do with Allison's death, which meant he couldn't then claim it was an accident. You can't say you weren't there and also argue it wasn't intentional. The murder conviction was reinstated. Gerard returned to prison to serve out his life sentence. For more True 911 calls, watch this episode next.